Hey guys, giving away a Switch on the channel this month again, so make sure that you get involved, like, subscribe, and hit the bell on the channel, and then leave a comment because the comment gets you the entry. I'll do the draw for the Switch from August tomorrow, and then I'll publish the results and the draw video on the channel so you guys can check that out, and then I'll ship that out to the winner. See you soon. Hey guys, I'm going to make myself slightly bigger actually. Do you know what, guys? Let's just make myself slightly bigger. I'm going to do this on video just because this is a video more about me talking as opposed to anything else. So, what I wanted to talk about today, guys, was essentially what I think autochess can learn from the other major competitors in the genre right now, the auto battler genre. Talking about Dota Underlords, and I'm talking about TFT. Because I think there's things that autochess can learn from them, because they are making waves and they are increasing the levels of competition in our genre. And as a content creator, primarily for autochess mobile, I want my game to make these same kind of moves to succeed, because when the game succeeds, I succeed. So it's in my best interest to express when I feel like there is things that we could be doing better. And the first of which is obviously learning from something like Underlords. Now, for those of you that don't know the history of autochess mobile, they used to be a team. Drodo was a team that created the Dota autochess mod, which is where this genre started. Drodo created Dota autochess, which was an incredibly popular, very highly played game. Everybody loved it. It was definitely something that was really popular amongst Dota players, and also to most players of anything alike, because we just hadn't had anything new in terms of genres for quite a while. So when this popped up, everybody was really into it. Now, Drodo wanted to create their own game. So they actually went off and started to create autochess mobile, which is the game that we play. Valve then called Drodo for a meeting and said, we want you to create, or help us create, an autochess game which we will publish. Either they wanted to buy the studio out, or they wanted to invest so heavily in the studio that they became, you know, like shareholders or major stakeholders or something. Drodo said no, because what Valve really wanted was that Valve had already created Underlords by this point. They wanted Drodo to come and work on Underlords so they could basically direct carbon copy autochess into Underlords. If we'd had Drodo work with Valve, Underlords would have been the game that we were playing right now, because it would have just been autochess mobile. But no, Drodo went back and wanted to create their own game, which is what autochess mobile was. And then Valve decided to create Underlords anyway, obviously, because they were working on it, and made it a little bit different. There were some differences. And obviously, for a time, TFT, Underlords, and... well, I'll leave TFT to one side because I'll talk about that later. But Underlords and autochess mobile, they were pretty much the same game. There was some minor differences in terms of what synergies were called. There was some minor differences in terms of how synergies worked. But overall, they were pretty much the same game. Until recently, Valve started really pushing Underlords to the limits, especially at International 9. They had a couple of awesome... sort of promo things for it. They did a lot of good advertising at the International for it. And then, recently, they released this video, which I'm going to play for you now. I'm hoping it's not too loud. It doesn't look too loud. I mean, the actual audio is not so much of a problem. Is my internet really struggling to play a Twitter video? Give me 1 second. Alright, we're back. So basically what this is there are items that you can place on the board. So they act like units. They're items that act like units that have some kind of impact. I don't need to go through them all individually because you can kind of see what's happening, but essentially they are items that impact your team. And whilst I don't think that I would like this, I don't think that this would be something that I'd want in auto chess. I think this is a bit gimmicky, and I think it's, you know, it's becoming a bit Clash Royale-like in terms of the way it plays, like, you know, these little things that you put on the board. I love what they're doing in terms of innovation. This is what I want to stress. Valve and Underlords are not afraid to push the envelope on what you can do in-game. And although we have fantasy modes... dogs. So yeah, although I'm not totally sold on like this as a idea for autochess mobile, I love the innovation that Valve are bringing here. They're not afraid to push that envelope and say, okay, let's just try something different. Let's try something that's going to shake this game up. Let's keep the meta interesting. Let's keep the game interesting. Because one thing that you may have noted from autochess mobile is that because they've stopped doing weekly balance updates, we aren't really getting anything that's changing the game up. So if you look at my videos over the last month, 75% of them feel like they've been Feathered Assassin. And although that's great, and I love Feathered Assassin, and I like teaching you guys how to play it, I feel like there's only so many times I can teach you how to play Feathered Assassin before it gets a little bit boring for you. That's why I want more stuff. Like, that's why we did the 2v2 with me and Claytano, because it's just different content. Because otherwise you're just seeing me play games at King 2, King 3 rank and onto Queen rank. And although that's, you know, it's fun, and I guess some people do watch for me personally, it's a difficult way to keep my content interesting. Like, I have to sit there and play the same game over and over again and find ways to make it interesting. Like, I just don't do it every single day of my life. Whereas with this, Underlords have gone, oh, wow, you know, like, yeah, let's do something different. Let's shake up the meta. Let's give content creators a load of opportunities to create new content and find ways to explore what we're doing, and that's cool. And I'm not saying I'm going to go play Underlords, because I've never played it in my life, and I prefer autochess mobile. But what I'm saying is that it's a really, really good move from Valve to keep trying new things, and that's something that I want autochess to do. So I'm going to have a look over at TFT now. And the reason I brought up the items page is because this kind of stresses my point on TFT. I'm actually going to close this in case it auto plays that video over and over again. Because it stresses my point about what I was just mentioning there. TFT has kind of swings and roundabouts. I call it like an upside and a downside for the system that they've got. The downside is that you've got two forms of RNG in the game. You've got item RNG and you've got unit RNG. Now, to be completely frank, you know, we have that in our game as well. We have item and unit RNG in our game also. But items probably account to around 20% of your ability to win a game. You look at TFT, it's probably more like 50-50, and in some cases even more so, items are more important. Items are heavily influencing game outcomes in TFT. So you have two frustrating forms of RNG to deal with. That is the downside. The upside is that the creativity that brings to the game is like unmatched across auto battlers. You have the creativity of creating your composition, but you have the creativity of creating the items, comboing the items together, and choosing which units to put your items onto. And although there are accepted ways to have the strongest comp with the strongest items, it gives your average user in, like, let's say silver or gold elo, which is like, you know, like knight/bishop elo, the ability to just experiment and have fun. They can just create whatever they want. They could put triple bloodthirster on Shyvana and see how it works out. You know, it's something that it gives your average user of autochess and of TFT the ability to feel like they are going into a game and creating something cool. And if they win with it, even better, because they created it. They had that idea in their head. With autochess mobile, there are certain comps that you can go. You can't go an Agursis comp, for instance, because you have no tanks. You could go an Agursis comp with a comp that's a major composition like knights or like warriors, but you couldn't just like say, I really want to build Agursis this time round, or, you know, I want to build shaman for some reason. You can't do that in autochess. You have set compositions, and then it always feels like you're copying either high level players, content creators, and it doesn't feel like you're having that input. You know, if they had tanks for Agursis, if they had like, you know, like units that could soak damage for all the different types of compositions, then maybe you could go around and say, I'm going to build Agursis this game because I've got 2 Agursis tanks. You know, I'm going to slot that in with another composition. I'm going to create something of my own design. You don't really create something of your own design in autochess. You just know that there is stuff that you can play. And now that's not bad, because at least it gives consistency and people know what to aim for, but then you lose that kind of fun creativity aspect. And for me, as a content creator, I lose that fun creativity aspect because I don't have the ability to say, look what I discovered, because someone's already discovered it before. If you watch that 2v2 with me and Claytano, you know, Clay was asking, is there a comp that you have discovered? And I was like, not really. I mean, even the off-meta Fallen Witcher build that everyone credits me for was built by someone in Dota Autochess that I just transferred over to Autochess Mobile. So that I can't take credit for that, because it wasn't me that made that composition up. It's a guy called Ace of Spades, who doesn't, I think he plays TFT now, or Underlords, I don't know, but he created that composition. So you just lack the creativity. Like I said, there are upsides and downsides of it. I'd love to know what you guys think, because it's just something that I feel like we can learn. I wouldn't say copy these games, but they have lessons that can be learned by autochess to make it more give it longevity, give it a new fresh breath of fresh air. And because we aren't balancing on a weekly update anymore, because we are a bit more hands-off in the way that we do it, fantasy modes aren't enough for me, because you want to make the competitive game mode creative. You want to make the competitive game mode interesting and fresh as much as you can. That's why the removing and adding of units is good, because you guys might complain that, oh, Hunters died because Skull Hunter got removed. But for me, I'm like, well, this gives space for more units to come in. If we just keep adding more and more units and we don't take units out, you're never going to be able to build a composition, because there would just be too many units for 1 cost, 2 cost, and 3 cost, and 4 cost that you just won't get the unit that you want most of the time. But if you take units out and add units in, you can just freshen things up massively. This is why I want more 2 cost units in. I want more 1 cost units in. I want more 3 or 4 cost units in, because I want them to shake that meta up. I want to see different things come out, and that's going to make the game more interesting for me, but also make the game more interesting for you. I'm not saying that I don't like auto chess. I really do love auto chess, but I want it to be more, and I want it to learn from its competitors so that we don't get left behind. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.